What's up guys, it's your boy Nimbus here, and today I'm going to be making a Challenger World progression guide for you guys so that you guys have a little direction and know what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and how you are going to get to Diamond rank in the Challenger World so you can get that sweet, juicy, fat 4K Legion. Alright, so the first question is always going to be, should you even do Challenger Worlds? So if any of these apply to you, then yes, you should be making a Challenger World character. So if you are a new or returning player without an established main, make a Challenger World character. If you have less than 6K Legion, make a Challenger World character. If you do not have a main right now, make a Challenger World character. If you are a new or returning player without an established main, make a Challenger World character. If you have less than 6K Legion, make a Challenger World character. If you think starting fresh with everyone is fun, make a Challenger World character. If you're already doing dailies on a boss meal or Legion champ and want to double up on dailies, make a Challenger World character. Now obviously, you know, there are specific situations for each individual, so these are general rules. If you guys aren't sure, I would just look at the patch notes, do a judgment call. If you guys still can't decide, feel free to stop by to my stream or leave a comment, and either me or someone in the comments can try and just let you know what the best option would be for you. All right, so now let's get into, why should you make a Challenger character? Okay, so this is the Challenger World microsite for MC, and we are getting pretty much the same event. The only difference is there's a bit of bonuses for going to Hyperion, but I'm not really going to cover that. So as you guys can see here, there are different rewards for getting anywhere from 260 to 280. On top of that, there are boss missions. So you get a certain amount of points for clearing each boss at each level, and it goes all the way up to Hard Darknell and Hard Vihilla. So if we just scroll down here to the actual rewards, as you guys can see, we get 10 level 200 potions at Emerald, and we get another 10 level 200 potions at Diamond. And so these are the main reasons that we are doing Challenger World for the Legion, along with all these different bonuses here, because this emulates being around 6 to 8K Legion, give or take. And so this makes it a lot easier for you guys to kind of get established, even though you're kind of missing link skills because of all the goodies they have in here, right? So this is why we're doing it. Everything else beyond Diamond is kind of redundant. I mean, I guess you get a little medal, which looks kind of cool, I guess, but it's a lot more investment to do that. So how are we going to get to Diamond, right? How are we going to get this free 4K Legion? So this is a calculator, so I'm going to link this in the actual description of the video. But essentially, if we just reset this here, oh, it's really buggy too. Let's see, are we gonna reset today? Okay, nice. So essentially what this calculates is if you do the 5 check-ins a week, along with the level rewards, along with the bosses, it tells you how many points you're going to be at, right? And as we can see here from the microsite, we need 30,000 points to hit Diamond rank, 30,000, right? So if we just go back here, so pay no mind to the date really, because as you guys know, MC got this a little bit differently, and this also is based off Korea, I think. So if we are able to do Normal Cygnus, Hard Normal Hilla, Chaos Pink Bean, Chaos Zakum, Chaos Pierre, so all of CRA, Hard Magnus, also Hard Lotus, Hard Damien, Normal Slime, and then let's say Normal Lucid and Normal Will, you'll see here that we are able to hit Emerald rank, right? And so honestly, all of these bosses should be doable. The second you hit 260 and finish maxing out your Challenger gear, this should be extremely, extremely, extremely doable for you guys. The runs obviously aren't going to be like one-shots or anything, but once you guys learn the bosses, this will be very doable. And if you want to stop here, that's perfectly fine. You got 2K Legion for free. Maybe you already have 6K Legion, maybe you just can't be asked. Completely up to you. But if you do want to push for the other 2K Legion and hit Diamond rank, you're gonna have to push your character a little bit further, right? So let's say we crank it up. We're now doing Chaos Slime. We're now doing Hard Lucid. We're now doing Hard Will. And let's say we do Normal Gloom and Normal Darknell. So that's still not enough, right? So now if we hit 260 and we are doing all of these bosses, and then so we're doing Chaos Slime, Hard Lotus, Hard Damien, Hard Lucid, Hard Will, and Normal Gloom, and Normal Darknell, then you are going to be Diamond rank. Anything beyond this is completely a victory lap. Let's say you did want to push for that Challenger medal for whatever reason, you're going to have to solo all of C10 and also hit 280, I think, or is it 275? Yeah, you're gonna have to hit 280 and solo all of C10. So this is like way more investment, way more time. The jump from 260 to 270 is like astronomical. It is not worth it at all. So I think right here is a great stopping point for you guys. And then by this time, this is very doable within 2.5 months. Well, I guess it depends on how much you grind too, but so the requirements, like at minimum, I guess you can fiddle around with it. Let's say you're like 270 and you want to see if you can get away with just normal Lucid, normal Will. This is another option, right? And let's see, can we get away with normal Slime too? Yes, we can. What about normal Damien? Oh, it broke. Okay, normal Damien is out of the question. So the other alternative for you guys here is you guys can just get to 270, do all of normal Tenny, and then just solo Hard Lotus and Hard Damien, and this will again be enough to get you guys your 4K Legion. So again, it's super doable. This is like another option. This is again extremely doable within 2.5 months before the first World Leap goes, and you guys will be walking out of this with 4K Legion, potentially 5K if you use your Hyper Burns, potentially 6K if you're going to Hyperion, but that's a whole other conversation. So yeah, this is what you guys need to do to get the full rewards. Either of these two paths are very viable. I honestly think the 270 route is way more easy than having to get strong enough to solo C10, because around here is maybe 20-30 million combat power. Soloing C10, I guess they're like, is going to be probably like 40-ish to get up to soloing normal Gloom and Chaos Slime. So yeah, I would recommend the 270 route, where you just do all of the hard, up to Hard Lomian, and then you guys just do normal Slime, normal Tenebris. Actually, wait. Yeah, even without, let me see. Can you do this without the Hilliclear? Oh, and it broke again. So you do need the Hilliclear, actually. That changes that stuff a bit. That's my fault, guys. The Hilla is actually significantly harder than the other bosses. So let's fiddle around with this a little more. So if you can solo like Hard Lucid, or actually what about Hard or Sea Slime? Yeah, so if you guys can solo just up to Chaos Slime, again, it's extremely doable, and this will be enough. So I'll link this. You guys can play around with it, see what goals you want to set for yourself, and see what you need to get done to push to Diamond rank. And yeah, let's get into the actual guide now. So in regards to the actual World Leap, guys, as it says here, the first World Leap will be on August 27th. Today is, or I guess the world comes out on June 11th. So you guys will have about, again, 2.5 months or so before the first World Leap. And then another one is the month after, when the event ends, which would be about 3.5 months or so. So again, this is just something to keep in mind. If you guys are making a character on the Challenger world, it will be stuck here until August 27th at the earliest, with the latest being in September. Or I guess October if you want, but I'm pretty sure after September, at the end of September 23rd, the event's over. So you guys do have about 3.5 months to go ahead and achieve all these goals. All right, and so without further ado, let's actually get into the Challenger World Progression Guide. So this is going to be like a modified version of my previous progression guide, because you guys are going to be getting item burning, which means that once you guys finish all of the quests, your gear will eventually upgrade to 19 stars and unique. So all you guys need to really worry about is just the accessories. So first, from levels 0 to 200, you guys pretty much gonna skip that. There's gonna be something called the Terra Blink. If you go to any major town, you'll find someone named Spiegelman, and he will let you do the Terra Blink. You guys can just go to Hennessy's, and essentially it is just a tutorial that'll blink you all the way to level 200. It takes about 20 minutes, and you also get a really nice pet. The pet comes with auto potion and auto buff, I believe, and on top of that, you get a little crash course on some of the systems in MapleStory. Okay, so the real gameplay starts at 200. So I already have a bit of a progression guide, but what I'm going to do is give you guys the modified version with the Challenger World, and then once you guys get to the point in my progression guide where the Challenger World kind of links with the progression guide, I'll just refer you guys to that previous guide I made. So the first thing we want to talk about is what dailies do you guys need to be doing when you are trying to progress through the Challenger World, right? And so this doesn't change, but for those of you that aren't aware, you want to be doing all of your Arcane River dailies. So you unlock Vanishing Journey at level 200, Choo Choo Island at level 210, Lachulin at level 220, Arcana at level 225, Morass at 230, and Esfera at 235. So then at level 245, you unlock Tenebris maps. So these maps do not give you arcane symbols, but they give you a considerable amount of EXP for finishing the dailies, right? And so the reason arcane symbols are super important is because of something called Arcane Force. And so what Arcane Force does is it determines how much damage you deal to mobs based on whatever the arcane force of the mobs or the boss is. So each arcane map, or map in Arcane River, has like an arcane force level. And so again, if you guys don't have enough arcane force, your damage will be reduced. But if you guys have more than enough arcane force, your damage will actually get modified by a percentage up to 50%. So it's really important because you can be dealing 50% bonus damage to bosses. And if you guys don't have enough arcane force, when you go to your next area, you're going to be bricked because you won't be able to kill any mobs, right? And so you get Arcane Force from doing your dailies to upgrade your arcane symbols, which in turn power your Arcane Force. Another thing about Arcane River dailies is, they give you a ton of EXP. So this is something you definitely need to be doing. This is probably the most important daily every day, is your Arcane River dailies. So the next daily you guys need to be doing is Monster Park, and you guys should be doing it 7 times a day. So I know it's a little bit expensive. It costs like 7 million mesos or something for each Monster Park entry after the first one, but Monster Park gives you an insane amount of EXP. So let me just pull up something for you guys right here just to demonstrate how much EXP these dailies give you and why they're so important. So if you guys can look here, what I've already done is done like a wacky beans calculation, and essentially all I did was just dailies, Monster Park Extreme. And so how this calculator works is it only factors in the things you can currently do, and it slowly adds in the new stuff. So if we start at level 200 here with a Hyperburn max and our target level is, let's just say 260, right? If we were to run the dailies up to 260, by June 25th, today's June 11th, right guys? So in exactly 2 weeks of just doing our dailies, we would already be level 260. That's how much EXP this gives you guys. It gives you an absurd amount of EXP. It's super important. If you guys can't be asked to do anything else, just do your Arcane River dailies and do Monster Park and call it a day. And in 2 weeks, you will still be at 6th job, right? So again, these are the 2 most important things. Everything else after this is like an afterthought. Okay, so the next daily you guys want to be doing is going to be Ursus. Ursus is a daily boss you can fight 3 times a day after killing 300 mobs around your level. And so Ursus is like the most efficient thing you guys can be doing for mesos. You can get up to like 100-ish million mesos a day just by doing Ursus. And so Ursus has something called Golden Time, which doubles the amount of money you get from him twice a day for 4 hours. So if you do Ursus in these 4-hour windows, you actually double your mesos, and that's how you get to like around 100 million mesos, right? So these times are from 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 1 hour after reset, until 5 hours after reset, and then also 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 hours before reset up to 2 hours before reset. And so reset is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you guys can do the conversion to see what works for you. The next thing is going to be Maple Tour. So Maple Tour is another daily you can do. Essentially, it's very similar to Monster Park, actually. All you guys need to do is just go in there, clear the dungeon twice a day, and then you get paid money at the end of the week. And so it's called a payday, I guess. And your payday is decided by being exactly 7 days from when you first cleared Maple Tour. So you guys can withdraw the money early if you really need it, but you do take like a 50, 60, 40% penalty on how much money you get. So I would highly recommend you guys just wait the week and plan around it for your paydays in Maple Tour. And so the last daily you guys should be doing, in my opinion, is going to be Commercy. It is definitely like the sweater option, I guess. But the reason I highly recommend Commercy, guys, is because the Commercy pieces go to 22 stars. So the Sweetwater monocle, the Sweetwater tattoo, and the Sweetwater pendant. And also because we're kind of on a time crunch here, and we only have so much time to be in the burning world, right? Or the challenger world. You want guaranteed drops. So there, there's no guarantee that a Twilight Mark drops. There's no guarantee that an eye patch drops or that a Dominator pendant drops. And even if it does drop, it might take you guys a while to get into your Golux gear, and nothing before Dominator pendant and Sweetwater pendant go past 15 stars. So we are trying to get as much damage as possible. And so because of that, Commercy is definitely a must in the challenger world, guys. You don't want to get stuck on the Zakum eye face and like the Horntail pendant or something, because you're going to be missing so much damage. It's very much going to be like a roadblock for you if you guys aren't doing it. And yeah, so for the challenger world specifically, you guys really want to be doing Commercy. And so for gear priority, since you guys will be doing a Hyper Burning Max, most likely at least, you'll be getting access to Challenger gear. And so let me just go ahead and show you guys what Challenger gear is and why it is such a big deal. So as you guys can see here, this is the item burning, and so this gives you the Challenger gear and the Challenger weapon. And so the reason it's so important is because, again, this stuff goes all the way up to 19 stars, which is a ton of damage, and it also gets to unique potential. And so all 8 of these pieces go to 19 stars for free. And it's temporary gear. It lasts till, I think it lasts till like September or so, which means that you guys will just be able to get straight into Arcanes very easily, right? And so, again, pretty much what you want to be doing is just soloing these bosses whenever you hit the levels. Again, it's extremely doable, even easy lucid. By the time you're 6th job and you get all your free fragments and Soul Urta, you will have more than enough damage to solo easy lucid. And again, it is free 19 star gear, and that is why we are just going to be focusing on like the accessories instead, because you're pretty much set all the way up until Arcanes. You really don't have to worry about anything with this. All you need to worry about is just what kind of accessories you're rocking, right? In regards to accessory routes, there's 2 accessory routes you should worry about depending on your situation, and this is for the early game, right? And so obviously the first thing we're going to be doing is making farming gear or boss drop gear. So farming gear is essentially when you take all of your accessories and you put 60% drop rate on them, and then you put 100% Meso obtained. The drop rate's kind of negotiable. The drop rate is kind of like, it really depends on how much drop rate you actually have from all your other stuff. So like if you have Threads of Fate going and you can make wealth acquisition potions, you don't really need as much drop rate, but the goal is to be at 67% drop rate at least. And the reason this is so important is because 67% drop rate is the break point, which guarantees that a monster drops a Meso pouch, right? And so 100% Meso obtained is the cap you can get from equipment, which means that this is the optimal gear, at least cheap gear for farming, because you'll be getting as much Meso as possible from killing these mobs. And if you're going to be farming for at least 1 hour a day, I would also recommend you start doing Threads of Fate so you can get to Meister Alchemy and start crafting wealth acquisition potions, because that also makes your farming even more efficient. So if you're more of a daily player and you just log in, you do your dailies, you kill your daily bosses, you do all the weekly content you need to progress, and then you call it a day, then instead of doing farming gear, I would just skip it and potentially look at rolling just straight up drop gear. And so what this is just all 9 of your accessories. You just roll 1 line of drop on each of them, and this will bring you to a 180% drop rate. And so the reason we do this, right, is because when you guys are killing bosses, and since you're not farming, all you really care for are just getting boss drops, right? And so this is the easiest way to give yourself the maximum amount of drop rate, and it's the cheapest way too. There's no hybrid lines or anything like that. And so again, this is only if you're a daily player. If you are going to be farming it for at least an hour a day on average, I would highly recommend the farming gear. But if you know you're not going to be farming, you know yourself, then I wouldn't worry about it. Another thing I want to talk about is Vac Pets. because Vac Pets are for sale for the Challenger World right now. I think the Vac Pet is not mandatory. It is going to be here for a while. So let me just pull up the Vac Pet sale really quick for you guys, just so I can kind of explain how important I think Vac Pets are. And so it really depends on what you guys, I guess, like your income, you know, how much expendable money you have. And so this is going to be on sale until July 16th. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't buy a Vac Pet right away unless you already know that you're going to be like using it the whole way through, and that like you're going to be playing MapleStory for a while, because it is going to be like $100 for 3 months of uptime, and then another like 10 to 15 bucks depending on if you have reward points every time you want to, you know, refresh it and keep it around. So again, I don't think it's mandatory. You will be perfectly fine all the way up until like Cernia, maybe Arcus. I feel like Arcus is when it gets really like blatant that they're trying to push you towards a Vac Pet. But by that time, I feel like if you're a new player especially, you'll be able to figure out if this is worth it for you. And also, I would refer to your guys' class discords too, and just see how much Vac Pets matter to your class, because some classes, like Demon Slayer for example, do not need a Vac Pet to farm effectively. They can do about 90% of what someone with a Vac Pet does. And so if you guys don't know what a Vac Pet is, by the way, I completely glossed over that. It's essentially like a pet with enhanced suction. So it can like pick up items from multiple platforms at once, both above and below you, which makes looting more efficient, which in turn saves you time, and makes farming less tedious. But again, I wouldn't worry about this for now, guys. I would just worry about if you like MapleStory or not. Okay, and so by the time you guys start soloing Easy Lucid, you should be strong enough to start soloing Helix. So this is a bit of an unpopular opinion, but for the sake of the Challenger World, I would actually advise that you guys go for the Reinforced set before the Superior set. And so this is because you guys are on a little bit of a time crunch. You have like you have like 2.5, maybe 3.5 months to like get in and get out of the Challenger World. And so the reason I say do the Reinforced set over the Superior set is because the Reinforced set takes about, I say like maybe 5 weeks-ish, maybe 6 weeks to get, while the Superior set takes a little longer. It could take upwards of 2 months, depending on your drop rate, and also on your drops, right? You can go, like I went 2 months without seeing a single Supp drop from Golux, which would mean if I was in the Challenger World, I would never have finished the set. So the reason I say do Reinforced is just because it's a lot easier to get your hands on the Reinforced set, and you still get the boss damage, and to be honest, you don't really need that extra IED on C10. So I would say just do the Reinforced set, and unless you guys don't mind being like patient with it and hoping, then you can go for the subset. And then so just don't push the Reinforced set past 17 stars, because again, if this is your main you're building out right now, you are going to eventually move into the Superior set, so there's no point doing that. And so Golux gives you a ring, he gives you a necklace, he gives you a earring, and also a belt, and it's probably the strongest set in the game. So once you hit 260, there are also a few more dailies you need to be aware of. So Monster Park Extreme, which gives you a ton of EXP, and it's a weekly you can do. You also unlock Grandest Symbol dailies, which are pretty much Arcane River dailies, but they're just in Grandest. It's a very similar system to Arcane Force, but now it's just called Sacred Force. The next thing is going to be Epic Dungeon. Epic Dungeon, a lot of people don't know about when they're starting out, but essentially it is a weekly you can do that gives you a ton of EXP, fragments, and soul Urda. It does take a while to do. It can take maybe an hour or two, but as you get stronger, it becomes really fast. You should be able to start clearing it like half an hour after a while. And something a lot of people don't know when they're starting out is Epic Dungeon actually has checkpoints. So I think in High Mountain, if I remember correctly, there's like 9 or 10 levels, but after you finish each level, you save the checkpoint, which means you can just log out, go about your day, and do the rest later. And you can even do like 1 or 2 levels a day and finish it by the end of the week, and they reset on Wednesdays with the bosses. But it is super important you do this. It is the most time efficient thing you can do for EXP, more time efficient than Monster Park, more time efficient than Monster Park Extreme even, potentially. And also you get like a ton of fragments. You get like 45-50 fragments from High Mountain. And the last daily you guys need to worry about is Urda's Request. So this is another daily you can do for fragments and soul Urda. And these are all the new dailies you guys unlock. And so from there, I'm going to link you guys to my progression guide that'll kind of just show you what the arcane step looks like. It's just to show you how you would be transferring out of your challenger gear into your arcane gear. So I'll just link that in the description and in the card, I guess, at the end of the video if you want to click that. But yeah, this is all the changes I would make personally to a regular progression in the challenger world, and hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you guys did find this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment too. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And I also stream on Twitch on Sundays all the way to Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully I catch you guys there. Hopefully you guys have fun in the challenger world, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!